You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. Our source today, Comelec Chairman George Garcia. Sir, good morning. Thank you for being here once again on The Source.
Good morning, Ma'am Ria. Good morning to all the televiewers.
All right, sir. Well, congratulations, because 100% of the over 42,000 barangays nationwide have already proclaimed the winners for the barangay and SK polls. Tell us, sir, what happens now after the proclamations?
Well, after the proclamation, based on the decision lately of the Supreme Court in our motion for reconsideration regarding the constitutionality of the postponement of the barangay and SK polls, the Supreme Court said that supposedly those who will be elected by October 30 should have started their term by January 1 of 2023. That being the case, immediately after the proclamation, for example, by October 30, or last October 30, they should have assumed office already by yesterday. However, we were informed that the DILG issued a circular which mandates or said that there will be a 3-week transition period in order to allow those who are leaving and those who are coming to properly turn over all accountabilities, more so the money, including the property accountabilities or of the local government unit. And so the transition period will likewise give the opportunity to incoming new elected BS, the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan, to train and perhaps enroll in short courses for purposes of leadership training.
Right. Originally, they were saying it would be a 1-week transition period. As you said, now it's a 3-week transition period. So do you feel that's enough time for an effective turnover?
It may be a sufficient time already, Ma'am Ria. Supposedly, I was recommending to the secretary, to the good secretary, only a 7-day transition period, because if you will allow the incoming newly elected Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan officials by the day after the proclamation, that will be disastrous. There will be a lot of chaos, and then definitely those who lost the elections, the incumbent, who will be replaced by the new ones, may not immediately give in to the coming in of the new ones in the office.
Mm-hmm. All right, sir, I want to talk about disqualification cases of the BSKE. Now, how many cases are pending? When do you plan to resolve them, and what are the nature of these cases?
We have now more or less 400 disqualification cases pending before the Commission on Elections, and these cases range from premature campaigning, illegal campaigning, vote buying, and such other disqualification grounds. As far as the Comelec is concerned, we committed that when we suspended the 256 candidates with pending disqualification cases, we committed that we will resolve all of these cases before they will be allowed to assume office. And because they were given at least 3 weeks transition period, we are hoping to resolve the disqualification cases of those we suspended the proclamation in a matter of 3 week time, Maria.
All right. So just to clarify, sir, you said there's over 400 pending cases. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Ma'am Ria.
Okay, and you are confident that you can conclude these cases within the next 3 weeks?
Yes, ma'am, at least the ones that we suspended the proclamation, the
Right.
256, because we should be able to immediately resolve these cases in order to allow or not to allow the winning candidates to sit. Remember po, Ma'am Ria, the reason why we suspended their proclamation is because we honestly believe, based on our initial assessment, that indeed the cases filed against them were so meritorious, and so we would like to resolve at least those whose proclamations were suspended. Yun naman pong iba, pwede pong magtagal ng konti, but at least in order not to create a vacuum in leadership dun sa mga barangays where they are supposed to serve.
Okay, so ito yung sinasabi niyo po na 256 proclaimed candidates.
Yes, Ma'am Ria.
All right. Now, Chairman, there were 3 persons deprived of liberty who also won in the polls. How exactly did this happen, and will they even be able to properly serve their constituents?
We have to understand that this is for the televiewers, for our kababayan to know that even if you are charged with a criminal case and your case is still being tried, and there is a judgment already convicting you, but you filed an appeal before a higher court, then the decision is not yet final and executory. And under our present law, if the case is not yet final and executory, you are not yet deprived of civil and political rights. That being the case, you can vote and you can be voted upon. That's what happened to these 3 inmates. So sila po ay maaari may conviction pero naka-appeal yung case, o maaaring may case but the case still pending in court, so they were allowed to run. Now, they won the election. In fact, yung isa po dun, ma'am, emerged to be the number 1 in the list of the kagawad in the barangay. Maybe the family really supported and the friends really supported this particular candidate. Definitely, there will be certain limitations as far as them being able to serve office, but at least they can serve virtually their constituents. And of course, we cannot do anything about that, especially if they got the mandate of the people.
So anong mangyayari po kung nag-appeal sila and that appeal is denied and that their conviction is final?
Then in that case, they will be deprived of their political right, which is the right likewise to govern for public office. So in which case, they cannot be allowed to even attend the meetings of the Sangguniang. Kasi po, when you are convicted of a crime, then you are deprived of civil and political rights.
And then how will their position be filled, sir?
Then in that case, if, for example, the now number 1 kagawad, the one that elected, the PDL elected as number 1 kagawad, will vacate the position because of final conviction, then in that case, the second one will go up, and then the last one, which will be left to be filled up, will be filled up by the mayor appointing the OIC, or the new kagawad for the unfilled position.
I see. All right. With that, sir, we need to take a short break. We will be back. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Ria Tanwatco Trillo. Let's go back to our source today, Comelec Chairman George Garcia. Sir, welcome back to the program. Now, getting back straight into it, while the elections were generally peaceful, they were not without the incidents of violence. In fact, the Council for Climate and Conflict Action Asia said that the 2023 BSKE turned out to be the bloodiest election in the past decade in BARM. Your thoughts on this, sir?
I would like to contest that statement simply because it would appear that the good gentleman was able to compute the number of incidents, not necessarily, even those which are not necessarily election related. It would appear that based on the computation, with all due respect given by him yesterday, was that they even included incidents which are not necessarily related to the election. For example, the one that happened in Zamboanga, the land dispute, somebody died, and therefore that has nothing to do with the election. Or the one that happened, for example, in Batangas, or the one that happened in other parts of Bangsamoro. So as far as we are concerned, there are 19 election-related deaths, and more or less we have 29 election-related violence that was verified by the Philippine National Police. So it may not, the election was generally peaceful, but it was not without any incidents like this. And this is so unfortunate. We really condemn this, and this will be an eye-opener on the part of Comelec for us to be able to be prepared by next election. And of course, our security forces must likewise be doubly prepared in order to face this kind of incidents by next elections.
Right. Now, I want to talk about the teachers, sir. Some teachers serving as electoral boards withdrew shortly before Election Day. If I'm not mistaken, that was about 29 teachers who withdrew in Abra. How is the Comelec addressing this?
29 teachers in Abra, 2,500 teachers in the Bangsamoro, and about 10 teachers in Bicol and such other places. They withdrew before the election. We respect, again, I would like to clarify, we respect their right to refuse service on election day, because under the law, they cannot be compelled. It's not mandatory for election day service. And therefore, we will not file cases against them. We will not go after them. What we are going to investigate, Ma'am Ria, are those teachers who on the day of the election, try to imagine already starting the conduct of the election, withdrew on the same day and time after the opening of the polls, and didn't even want to give the election paraphernalia to those who are replacing them, the personnel of the Philippine National Police. Yun po yung aming nagtataka kami, Ma'am Ria, bakit? Why on election day and then several hours after opening of the polls and then stopping the conduct of the election and then even refusing to give the election paraphernalia to the replacements? These are the teachers which we would like to investigate, but not the teachers who refuse to have election service before and who declined before the conduct of the election.
All right, so you're talking about investigating the teachers who had committed, but on the day of the elections did not show up or perform the duties they committed to doing. Now, the Teachers Dignity Coalition says Comelec needs to look at the valid reasons of the teachers. What reasons might they have had?
That's why, Ma'am Ria, I'm saying is as far as those teachers who refuse to render service on election day prior to the conduct of the election, definitely we cannot go after them. That's a foregone conclusion. Hindi po namin sila babalikan o papala ng case. That's a pure right on the part of the teachers. But however, as far as the teachers who started already the conduct of the election in the particular precinct, ilan lang naman po yan, hindi ganun kadami. Especially in certain areas in Bangsamoro, who started conducting already the election, stopping the election there and then nung may pumalit na replacement, they refused to give the election paraphernalia. So we would like to find out where they threatened, where they're harassed by certain individuals, by politicians, or what happened. So gusto naming alamin so that in order to prevent in the future the occurrence of these incidents. What if, ma'am, madami sa mga susunod na pagkakataon, napakadami sa buong bansa, nasa 12 o'clock ng tanghali, biglang nag-withdraw sila ng serbisyo to be electoral board members, then that will put the entire electoral process in mockery and napakalaking problema sa part ng Comelec. Buti, ilang presinto lang po yan, but we would like to investigate.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that. Always, we appreciate your time here on The Source. That was Comelec Chairman George Garcia. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. You're watching CNN Philippines.